UFS people. Last weekend, or 2 weekends, sometime recently, I went to an event and I played this. Hold on, glare. My, and I mean, I didn't do great. I went even. Same number of wins as losses, 2-2. Lots of rounds in that event, but. The point was that a lot of people were really interested in my deck, and a lot of people wanted to hear about it, so I thought I'd do like a deck profile. It's like, get off of Marco's face. Yeah, there we go. So I thought I would talk a little bit about it, and people just wanted to hear about it, hear what the deck did, so here we are. It's a little off kilter, so I put this upside down. The deck is organized into the card types right now. So I thought I would just first show you how, let's go with odd it is. You got your actions pile, your assets, foundations, attacks. To demonstrate, here are my foundations that I ran. I had 3 summer vacation, not 2. Don't go crazy. There were 3 foundations in the deck, but I don't own 3 of this ultra rare, so we'll put that aside. It's a good card. It helped a bit. I don't know if 3 is necessary. Might want to cut back on the number of foundations. So here's my assets pile. I had 7 assets. I can count 7 assets. 4 squishy wizards. I fought Devin at the event, and he told me what the card did, and he was wrong, so that was an interesting interaction. Basically, with you discard 1 card from your hand, so you discard a squishy wizards, which lets you draw a card to discard a card. It's just more hand filtering, even though you ended up discarding the same amount of cards. It lets you see more of what you want to see. And then when Mai does that, she gets -3 difficulty and +3 speed to her next attack. Hopefully. Hopefully. And I've also got 3 Hanging Gardens, which, because of how Mai works, when she discards 1 card to play 1 attack, she actually puts 2 face down and then has her opponent pick 1. And it's like, hey, you pick this one, I get to play that at -3 difficulty. But there's something face down in the pool messing with it, so it's like 1-2 diff. So, but then this goes away, but then deeper into your turn, you got all these cards adding up. So Hanging Gardens is here all like, don't worry, bro, I got your back. Tap, I'm like a foundation, +2 to your check. And then mid-game, which is turn 2, you can start discarding momentum to draw cards, which actually helps considering you're paying 3 cards to play 1 in which is beyond idiotic. Kinda bad, kinda sad. So you may have noticed how weird it is so far that my foundations pile appears to just be 2 cards. Some of you, handful of you, maybe some of you, may remember this guy ran Bomb Man at Worlds with 40-ish, 35-ish attacks. Yeah, Bomb Man had a sister deck, and that was we developed them together. Both running 4 squishy wizards for a lot of the same cards, honestly. They had the same principle to just attack a lot every turn, all day, every day. Because the format was everyone dying on turn 2. So we figured, we'll just kill them on 1. And it worked pretty well for Rodney, but the deck didn't turn out as well. It was good, but, 19 health. See that? That's sad. 19. And having to discard 3 cards to play 1, or discard 2 to play 1, as opposed to Bomb Man, who's discarding cards to straight up murder a man, it's a bit different. It's still good, but it's just not there yet. It relies a bit too much on luck. So regardless, we'll get a bit down to more what the deck does. So as I was talking about, she needs to discard essentially 2 cards to play 1 attack. The attack is the 3rd card, so she needs 3 cards for every 1 card she wants to play. So you need lots of cards in hand. If you play Squishy Wizards of the form, you get to add it back to your hand, which is just more cards to your hand to play, which is good. So we're going to get to the most important pile here. And it's actually not the attack pile, which you can see is basically the size of one of these fingers, I don't know. We're actually going to go to the actions pile. Deliverance is a fantastic action for keeping you alive when you have 19 health. Because after 2 minutes into the game, your opponent realizes, oh, this guy plays 1 gray card. He taps it immediately on his turn. He cannot block things. So I'll just throw 7 high 9, 12 high 15, and I'm like, 4. This was the same thing in Bomb Man. You know what? I could just keep a little Bomb Man pile right there on cards that are, Man, after yelling 4, I spit all over my screen. Ignore that! The spit that's not actually on there. There were a lot of cards in Silmer with Bomb Man. They're good decks. Good decks. We love them. Next up, another action. Ignore the gray border on it and the fact that it says Foundation right there. That is a misprint. That is actually an action. Kind of like right here. See, this says Foundation as well. That is a misprint. This is actually an action. This as well is actually a blue card. I don't know. After it's discarded, you draw 1 card. So you do it with Mai's form. Pitch it, draw 1 card. It's just free value! Throw it down is pretty fantastic on turn 2, maybe turn 1, you know? Sometimes you're like, it's turn 1, I'm gonna, I don't know, let's say, attack you with this. With Mai's Pump and throw it down, it's, let's see, 3 speed, 1 speed, so that makes it 8 speed mid for, it gives itself 2. 8 speed mid for 12 damage with stun 2. Sometimes people take that on turn 1 and they're wondering, hey, what are you playing again? And then this draws you more cards. Cool, free cards! Bomb Man didn't have that, he would have been so jealous. But then again, this wouldn't be too helpful in Bomb Man, because technically you could block anything Bomb Man threw at you, it's just he threw a lot of things at you. I'm throwing for the speed. The lots of speed. This is nice damage. But after about turn 2, people start being able to block things, so throw it down becomes very difficult to play. Now, we also have, yeah, it's only at a hot 1x, but we have 1 not over yet. Because sometimes on turn 1, you just go not over yet, throw it down into that, and it's actually 10 mid for 14, and then you rip off half of Sagat's health on turn 1. That did actually happen. That was my round 4, turn 1. I only have 1 throw it down. It used to be at like 3, but it started getting reduced further and further as I kept adding more cards that reduce... I don't know why I'm saying the word reduce, that draw cards, because you really need to draw cards in this deck. That's why Hanging Gardens is a huge asset. I actually had Hanging Gardens at a 4 for a little while, but I ended up running with just 3 in the end. You know, just to be safe with it, I guess. After my 1 throw it down, which I don't know, maybe one day that'll get changed, I had 4, hold on, 4 copies of Sacrifice. There, you see, 4 Sacrifice. I don't know why I don't own 4 of this, I'm sure I do. But, yeah, see, it's got a blank text box, and after you review this card, draw 2 additional cards. All of a sudden, you're a 9 hand sizer. And people are like, are you cheating? And I'm like, nah! This card actually exists. You just have never run it. And then you pitch one with Mai, play a card, and you only got 6 in hand, but then one of the ones you pitch was a Balance Fighter, and then the card that you're playing draws you a card, so it's like you're 8 in... It's nice. It basically allows 1 more attack on your turn, and you don't have to do anything for it. So, damn good stuff. Damn good stuff. So now we're on to the good stuff. The attack pile. Yeah, look at this beast. This is what people wanted to see. This is what people cared about. So, 1 Beast Cannon. Beast Cannon you can actually hard check. Sometimes when you got 35 attacks, you can't play anything higher than a 3 div. So you can play a Beast Cannon, just be like, draw a card. And then your opponent's like, 3 mid 3, I'm just gonna eat that. And you're like, you're damn right! And then you build 1 and pass. No. So, continuing on after that, we have, Tisatsu Shinobi Bashi, which I believe is French for something about deadly ninja bees. So this one plays off of Mai's ability, which is like when you put it down and then your opponent's like, I picked that one. You draw immediately before checking, I think, after this card is turned. You draw before checking, which is nice. It's got that dank stun one, which is okay. It adds up. If it hits, you turn it face down, which is kind of a weird techie thing with her if you really want to end up clearing your card pool. I usually want momentum specifically for, drawing cards or something we'll see later. So I kind of don't want to flip it face down, but sometimes you do just to clear your card pool and go in for extra murder, and it's alright, 7 mid 4, it plays off the character, so that's nice. This is the main juice of the deck. Unfortunately, you're in a character where you don't always get to play your finisher when you want to. Now, it's on a 3, which is great, because sometimes 3 difficulty, 7 mid for 9, stun 2. See all those words printed on there? It's really good, because it ignores the face down in your card pool, and she gives -3, so it's just a 3. Good work, Jasko, because this says E, if it deals damage, discard all face down from your pool. Not cool. It is cool, though. Mai does that. This card's enhanced actually does nothing. Kind of, I guess you could play it after a multiple, which would make sense, but like, That's not going to happen. It never happens, because as someone who's been playing this deck for 9 months now, it's just, if you're going to play a multiple or this, you put them down together, because you're not going to be playing one or the other later. It's just not going to happen. It's a good card, but your support doesn't make sense. She's got a card that turns face downs in your card pool face up, and if it's your opponent's turn, you get bonuses. Why would they be face down in your card? This character almost had support. She has 8 cards on her page, and like 2 of them work with her. This one barely works with her. It's just good numbers. So Mega Buster, we've got 7 mid for 4 with my buff. If it hits, draw 1. I've only got it at 2 because it's, on damage, draw 1, and that's really rough, especially like turn 2 or later when your opponent actually can start blocking my attacks. I would like to replace it with something that has more immediate draw, but hey, it's got a +1 mid block. You might actually be able to use that once. Next up, we have a good MVP of the deck, Death Blow. Only at a 2, because you do need the momentum for it, but I've still killed many people with it, because damn, you put that out, and that's like, whoa, boop, and also, boop, that's like 15 damage off one attack, and it's like your 3rd attack. And people are like, it's done, stop! Next, I've got Ken's Shoryuken, which is annoyingly just like a more high version of, Mega Buster, because it's still got, if it's not blocked, draw 1, which is, damn, that's even worse than Mega Buster. They could half block that, but it is 7 high. So the awkward part is being 5 difficulty, 2 with my, 3. It's 3 with my. You kind of have to play it first unless you got Summer Vacation or Hanging Gardens. Then you could play it maybe 2nd or 3rd if you're lucky, and then it will hit. But turn 1, yeah, that's going to hit. You're going to draw. But like after that, you don't want to be swinging this first because it's not going to hit. So it's an awkward little situation there on your high difficulty. So it's not as helpful as it would like to be. So Hadouken! At 4x, that's Ken's Hadouken, not Rue's Hadouken, not Sakura's Hadouken, and I Geef's Hadouken. Is that ice cream on Geef? So it's just right up, just 6 mid for 4, first E, draw a card. Simple. Get cards to fuel your character, because your character's overcosted. Do it! Next up, we got a bunch of copies, 4 copies, Yamato's racist name. And it's just E, get a momentum, which you never do. So E, draw a card. Maybe if it's the end of turn, you always draw a card. And it's like 6 mid 5, but it's not always draw a card, because it's relying on your opponent. Whoops! Then next we got 4 copies of Sagaki offering. Now, see, I need cards in my that draw a card. This doesn't draw a card. I hit the 4+ on that maybe 3 times in the entire event. And man, when I did I cheer, because whew. But on the other hand, sometimes you send this after like a throw it down, and it's, what did I hit? Like 6 speed with my, 7 speed with throw it down, 3 speed from itself. So that's 10 high, 12 for like no effort. You're like, whap, take it. And then they take it. And yeah, and then this card is pretty helpful. It's basically Hadouken, but on a high. It's E, draw a card. This attack gets +1 damage for each card you've drawn this enhanced step. So if you have Hanging Gardens, oh wow, it's got the same character. Look at that! The same cards with the same character, different cards with the same character have synergy? What? Boy, you should learn from this! But like, yeah, you discard a momentum on this to draw a card, and then this will actually be 5 damage. So 6 high 5 is actually pretty reasonable. We've ran out of cards, so I guess that's the deck. So I'm going to go back to like one of the first cards we showed, which is Deliverance, and how important this is. And then I found myself just fishing for it. Hey, mine's got another ability. Just F-commit, draw 2 cards. Only playable if you've used Mai's form, basically. Your turn ends. That's the important part. Your turn ends. So if you look at your end turn, you're like, I can't play more attacks because I've got 2 cards in hand, or because I'm a bitch. Those are the only reasons. You have 2 or less cards, or you're a bitch. You're like, I need deliverances. There should be 4 of these. I need deliverances now to not die. So you're like, boom, give me a deliverance. And you see a deliverance pop in your hand. You're like, whew, I'm going to live. Or maybe you get like a throw it down with it, and you can block with that. That is actually a blockable block. If you have That gets tapped on your turn. That can't be used on your opponent's turn. Maybe you can block with this if you're lucky. If nothing else, you can R with it, and then Deliverance. Okay, so there's also a sideboard for this deck, but I didn't bring it out here because that would be stupid. Why would anyone do that? My sideboard was 4 Templars, and my sideboard was 4 Revokes. Just, you know, different techie stuff you needed to bring in based on your opponents. And honestly, that's it. It was a fun event. I went 2-2. Oh, hold on. That's me. It was a fun event. I went 2-2. The 2 people that I lost to, one of which was Devin, he got into the top cuts, and I lost to a Vega that, oh my god, this Vega ever wrecked this deck. I lost to a Vega that would have made top cuts, but he got diversified. So people would be like, hey, you went even, and you lost to 2 people who topped, so you would have been like right on the bubble, right? And I'm like, no. I was about 3rd from the last, because it was a real weird point system, where it's like, if you won 2-1, each of you got the same amount of points. Your opponent kind of tied with you, even though you won. And I'm playing a character that is straight up basically based on luck. Your opponent, like, there are times where I had to do this, and I'd be like, please pick the right one. And my opponent's like, ooh, that one. And I'm like, I would have killed you if it was that one. And that's legitimately just based on luck. So a lot of my wins are going to be 2-1, and because the person running the event decided he doesn't like Jasko's point system, so he's going to use one from a different game that makes no sense for UFS. So I was ranting. It was weird, but yeah, it was really cool going out and seeing the Edmonton guys, seeing the Calgary guys. There was one guy out from Vancouver, which was cool. I would say that's kind of far, but I drove 15 hours to go there, and we all had a great time. 3 of us packed in a car and we just drove. One guy played Oil Man. He did good. I think he actually made top 8 if it would have been top 8, but they decided to cut to top 4 because they ran out of time because they decided to do a whole UFS event in one day. So that was odd. But yeah, Oil Man kind of technically topped an event. We had enough people to justify top 8, by the way. We had 21 at this Edmonton event. By the way, it was not a real PTC or anything. Like, it wasn't intended to be. It was just a fun event. You know, you came out, you got, I'm not even kidding, a case of energy drink. Garrett won and he got like 17 cases of energy drink. I don't understand. They were a sponsor. It was actually pretty cool of a thing, but like, what? There was a PTC that happened the same weekend in Florida. It had 14 people. This random event in Edmonton had 21. So, cool. I really liked it. Oh, another one of my boys, he brought out Airman. That was a weird decision. He kind of made Airman at the last second. He brought like Natalie and Yamato, and the night before he's like, I don't know which one. And he shows up in the morning. He's got no sleep, and he's like, I built Airman Church. And I'm like, okay. And then I remember watching a match where someone was like, Dust in the Wind counters Airman. Like, I don't remember who was fighting him. And so Airman goes +3 speed, and the guy's like, Dust in the Wind -3 speed. And Airman's like, I canceled that. And the guy's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Read your opponent's character. The guy's been out for like, 5 sets ago, so that's 7 years. Jasko printing joke. But yeah, all that aside, it was really fun. We went to a game store in the West Edmonton Mall, biggest mall in North America, that had UFS in it, and they had sets of really old Soul Calibur that I've just got like in my basement. And there's a dog walking around. I've got a dog. Yeah, old boxes of Soul Calibur for $250. So that's weird, considering you could buy those on Amazon for dollars. I remember a point where you could buy packs of that set for literally a penny. Yeah, so that happened. Fun event. I'll probably go to more Edmonton events. My buddy was the guy who played Oilman. He was actually the only driver. So he kind of didn't like driving 15 hours. So I don't know. We'll try to go to more if there's more like a PTC or something, even though there specifically was an Edmonton PTC that we did not go to. Yeah, I gave out lots of Badger clubs to people. I hope that they use them. I want to hear from people, by the way, when you use them. If you do clutch stuff with this card, with that card, with the kit, I want to hear about it, okay? So if you're like, your opponent reverses you, like Spraggio or something, and you're like, block Badger club, I reveal attacks, and I didn't even have an attack, and I reveal attack, and I win the game with that attack. I want to hear that. You take a screenshot of that. You take a picture of that, because everyone's got phones these days, and I want to see that. That's really cool. That's how I used Badger Club when I first got it. My opponent attacked me, and I'm like, block, and I didn't have an attack in the hand, and I killed him. I want I want you people to do that. Also, it has another ability. Ability Marco made. Rodney and I were the ability where you block and you get an attack. Marco he wanted to kill people on 2, which I respect. So he's got the free damage, which is pretty sweet. We're Improved Design's bigger brother. Man, we should make a video about just the design process of Badger Club. It was an interesting design. Button.